Hello, hello, hello. This is Ricardo from coughinggeniusmedia, here with Jhon, aka HeavenSake Art. Today we're gonna have a quick little conversation. I want to get to know him a little bit better. Learn a little bit more about his movements in the art world and where he plans to be moving forward. To start it off, my first question is going to be, who is Jhon?
Hi, I'm Jhon. I am Colombian Puerto Rican, born on American soil. I'm 27 years of age. I'm a Leo Virgo.
Okay.
And these are all the things. I'm single.
Okay.
For the most part.
Yeah.
This is Jhon is a character created by society, a name given to me by my mom. It's an identity that I try to uphold as a reflection to everyone else. HeavenSake is a different person, but Jhon is just this person that I was born with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question that jumped into my mind, but I'm gonna save it for later on, because it's gonna get pretty deep later on as far as questions go, and I think I'm gonna save that for later. Who is HeavenSake then?
HeavenSake is my artist name.
Okay.
Sake is a name I created for myself when I was doing graffiti in middle school. I got caught and had a incident with the police, and I stopped doing artwork altogether for a while. I was like beat by the cops. It was like 4 cops, and I was like 14, and they beat the shit out of me, tasered me in the back of the neck.
Ugh.
And everything. And like a crazy part about that is that a month later, rest in peace, Rifa, is a peer of mine who went to the same school as I did, who was tasered by a cop because he was doing graffiti, and he actually passed away. So in retrospect, thinking a month earlier, I went through the same thing that kid went through, except that like my heart didn't stop going.
Yeah.
It continued, and it gave me a new discovered profound appreciation for the extenuation of my life I feel now.
Yeah.
After that incident. And I had to process the trauma. I hated cops that weren't even involved. I knew it was a trauma because of that. My blood would boil. And it's because I went through a personal experience. It's not something on TV. It's something that I've experienced myself, and I survived. Because of the grace of God. So now because I processed all that, I know that it was an incident that that had like a golden egg of a lesson for me to forgive someone who really just hurt you, someone who really, really like almost killed you, really.
Yeah.
So, and then you add all the things you see on the news. You're trying to process as a teenager, like your own trauma. So I'm grateful that I survived and I lived to tell the story. Forgiveness.
My condolences, man. I've never been in that situation, but there's been moments where I've come close, just because I was driving, and you get stopped over and you start freaking out. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say I understand your fear completely, but I understand that starting when it's starting, that feeling of just like, okay, what's about to happen? So I'm sorry, bro. Like that's messed up.
Yeah, and my mom not knowing English, she brought me to the police station the next day, my face all bruised up and things like this, saying, "What did you do this? What, like, who did this or whatever?" And the cop, the captain or whatever, came out and says, you know, he's lucky he didn't get bit by the dog or shot.
Wow.
You know, and this is being told to my mother. You know, so that was a lot to process, to understand that these guys almost try to kill me and they're here to protect me, and they treat my mom like third world trash. So I started to really like to understand the boundaries that had to be set, and you know, like process the trust issues that were accruing, you know, because the illusion is that that, you know, whatever creates hate, I know is an illusion. So I know there's a lesson in this, and it was to forgive them. And I feel like I did a great job, you know.
So would you say HeavenSake, the character of HeavenSake, is the art that you create is like a way of trying to tell a story of maybe like a combining images or ideas of just unity? Because I see a lot of your art is like a mixture of not only different colors but almost different animals also, you know, and that was an interesting thing for me. I was kind of like, that looks like a unicorn with a platypus, but I might be wrong, you know that. So there's a lot of mixtures going in there, and it's also interesting because you say Jhon and HeavenSake are two different people also. So it's like, is HeavenSake telling Jhon's story, or is it like HeavenSake is seeing the world through Jhon's eyes, but expressing the world through art through HeavenSake? Or maybe I'm thinking too deeply.
I think a little bit of both. But here, real quick, the real crazy part about the whole thing with HeavenSake, that name, why it's so deep for me, is because I used to write as a graffiti artist, sake everywhere, 60 sake. I got caught, that happened, I stopped doing graffiti, but I continued doing art on canvases, and I put heaven in front of it because then I started to seek God after that. You know, I started to like really take it deeper with myself, and I went to like random churches. That was a whole side story by itself, a whole movie, me trying to figure out who God is and going to an all-white church, and then them telling me like I'm not allowed there to go to a this type of church, you know. So it's just like, so then I started to understand what God is, you know. So like I went through this spiritual like J curve in my life with the whole cops and trying to find God. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, honestly.
I think you're trying to explain why heaven is always put on it.
Oh yeah. So I put heaven, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I put heaven in front of sake. You know, and HeavenSake is already a phrase. So I thought to myself, like, that makes sense. Like, even as a phrase, I'm saying I'm putting heaven in front of sake. So it just stuck to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm HeavenSake.
I kind of saw an interesting reason. I think it may also be subconscious, but maybe that's, like I said, maybe it's me reading too much into things. But the story that you told about your friend that passed from being tased, and you surviving being tased, I feel like, in a way, like I said, maybe I'm reading too much into it. It may be like survivor's guilt. So for heaven's sake, in my mind, I'm thinking, your friend went to heaven, but you're still alive. But he also did graffiti, right? In my mind, he represents heaven, and your sake, you're still here, and now you're carrying on forward that story for both of you guys.
Wow.
That may be just me seeing things differently.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Rifa. They made he's Miami based. It's called Rifa.
And I need to look into that.
It's a whole thing about this man. So
yeah, I need to look into that.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah, I think I think subconsciously or maybe unknowingly, you're carrying a story for your friend also. Um, but speaking of, just art in general, what is art to you?
Art to me, art, the very simple answer is that art is life.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything has art in it.
Yeah.
Everything is creation. And as an artist, I practice seeing the beauty way in all this creatrix that's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's an unfolding in the mastery of creation, art.
Yeah.
In a literal sense, I can say that art is my bread and butter. It actually puts, an exchange of energy in my atmosphere. I can eat, I can sleep with art.
Yeah.
Art is my therapy as well.
Yeah. I can definitely understand that. I've been saying lately. I've been having this quote I've been saying, which is like the art of creation, which is, I don't know if it's redundant, because to make art is to create, but I feel like there's a difference, but I may be wrong. But we're just gonna go into that because we're not gonna go into that because sometimes my mind starts running. But speaking of creation, like just creating, I believe someone who creates is an artist. What is your definition of an artist, if it's any different?
The separation of artist and creator is difficult because they're like one and the same. It's like saying material and space. You kind of need space to have materials.
Agreed.
That's how like I see it. They might be like slightly different, but I think they're the same thing. To be an artist is the awareness of your creation power. I guess to your point, you are creating whether you are aware of it or not, but you become an artist once you start to master how to create what you're putting out there. Because there's also miscreation,
Yeah. I think the part that because I'm a photographer also, and sometimes I tell people I'm not an artist, but I'm still creating almost a standstill image, and I don't know if a standstill or an object defines the work of an artist. So I think for me, that's something I'm always gonna be troubled by, trying to figure out what that definition really is. A lot of people have different definitions, but for me specifically, that's what it is. It's whether it doesn't need to be something you can touch. Does it need to be physical, or can it also be emotional or spiritual? You know what I'm saying? Like I struggle with that, but in my journey to find out what I am as an artist, I dabbled a little bit. I draw, I sketched, I picked up a camera. What made you want to be an artist? Like, was it like your first crayon from your mom, or like what made you want to become an artist?
Just to like piggyback off your previous thought, because it sparked something in my mind. Like you said, like you see like something tangible as something that can define an artist, or something that is not tangible. Can that define an artist? Well, like, is it spiritual, or is it energy, or is it like material? These are just different forms of the same thing. I also think that a smile or laughter, you can't really touch, you can't really grab onto happiness, but you created it with people.
Deep.
And it's something that, you know, you can't put in a pocket or in a jar, but you created it, and it's something so special. It's like a painting.
Yeah.
To make a group of people happy.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
You're creating moments.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have you read the book of the Four Agreements?
No, I haven't. But I think you just put me onto something right now.
Oh my God!
I think you just put me. The Four Agreements.
Oh my God,
Quick summary.
So this is the whole. I'm telling you these things from this book that I've learned.
Yeah.
And it's basically describing everybody as an artist.
Yeah.
And the artist of dreams.
Yeah.
And this is your palette, your canvas.
Yeah.
And with your decisions, you, like a stroke of a brush, are creating a painting, a mastery before you.
Yeah.
And so with every decision you make, you create a painting. It's like a labyrinth, though. It becomes, you know, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know? So when you're talking to me, I'm like, yeah, you have to be talking in the literal sense, but that's because the energy realm hasn't become so in the forefront of your awareness.
Yeah.
That, to me, I live in the energy, like you spoke it earlier today. Like, it's something that I'm practicing.
Yeah.
And it's magical.
Yeah.
It really is magical, man.
That's.
I mean, there's a balance to it, though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's interesting because off camera, I told you about how sometimes I feel like I'm living on a frequency that I'm not in tune with yet, almost. Like when I speak sometimes, the intensity in my voice says something different than just the words. So when you said the Four Agreements, something in my mind kind of clicked a little bit. And then you went into it and you were talking about how just living life, it's almost like you are an artist. And I could feel the guttural feeling of just like that connection of just like, oh dude, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, man, and I'm very fascinated by that. I'm very interested into learning what that is. Because I always say this, I feel like I am an art form. I feel like me living life the way I want to is an art form, you know? And that's why I think I'm also so fascinated in people's story. Because when people are explaining this story, it's almost like they're explaining not a masterpiece, but they're explaining, I'm gonna call it a masterpiece because I'm always fascinated. You know what I'm saying? Like just the way you're telling me these stories as you go along, it's fascinating to me. You know what I'm saying?
I like the word fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascination. Fantasy. You know, it is fantastical. Dreams. That's what you're describing.
Yeah.
This is a dream. Yeah. And if you believe in God, I don't know if you do.
I do.
We're all like in this one consciousness dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. I mean, you hear a lot of theories growing up as a kid. You're like, what do I believe? And I guess what I'm sharing with you is the one after 28 years, almost 28, about to be in 4 days.
Yeah.
This theory resonates with me the most.
Yeah.
To feel, to know that we are all one. And I don't care how else you look at it, this is the truth. Everything else is a derivative. We're all one. And dreamscaping is a thing. Like, if consciousness like is projecting itself, you know, like it's kind of dreamy.
Yeah.
That's why the thoughts matter.
Yeah.
It's trying to teach you. It's a reflection of how God works.
Yeah. Because
God is like goddess or entity or whatever is using consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, and heart and love.
Yeah.
Love is like the golden thread. They say it's like the thread that connects straight to source.
Yeah.
So love is really powerful.
I believe that. But so what made you want to be an artist?
I used to draw dinosaurs.
Yeah.
When I was like young, like 7, because I was fascinated by them. And my mom actually got me a book. There's a dinosaur book that I've had here somewhere. I've had it for many years. I can't find it now.
I see one that says animals. My very first encyclopedia, Disney encyclopedia.
Oh dang, I can't find it. But whatever. Oh, it's here. This is it.
Oh, the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it out because I never talk about it, but this has a huge reason.
Yeah.
To my artist career. This book. Wow.
Memories, huh?
This book holds power, dude. When I first saw this book, I started to like mimic the drawings, and I was trying to draw all these, and I was doing a good job, dude. Like a little freaking 7-year-old.
And it was just flowing for you.
Yeah. I fell in love with dinosaurs and like just animals in general. Stuff like this, dude. Like, check this out.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah, that'll definitely get you there as a 7-year-old.
Oh. But the interesting part about that is that I chose to draw them as a appreciation towards them, you know, like I could have done anything else, but like I naturally decided to like do a second version of them on paper. I thought that was like interesting for me as a kid.
Yeah, I think that's where it mostly starts, is the admiration.
Yeah, like my art was like birthed from admiration.
Yeah.
Like, you're so beautiful, I have to draw you.
Wow.
You know, that's what I thought about the animals. I'm like, how can I, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting. Because I think a lot of people's story starts with that, trying to express your admiration, and that's when you end up creating. So you started drawing dinosaurs, and then after that you tried drawing your mom, or just
it just never stopped. I just kept going, drawing cartoons for the most part, just different things. I loved art. It was effortless for me to like enjoy a project. I think I went straight to like advanced placement in, you know, high school.
Yeah.
I was like in the art club. Yeah, I think that's a superpower. I discovered that's a superpower when I was working for Carroll City High School as a reading interventionist. I decided to start an art club there at Carroll City High School because there wasn't a freaking art club. So I started one, and it was very impactful for some at-risk youth. You know, using art as a method to express, you know, whatever they're feeling and process their emotions.
I think there's a subtle problem solving feature to I'll say feature just because I couldn't find the right word, but using just art itself, that creative, tapping into that creative mindset, it gives you a problem solving skill that's more subtle, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Say, I don't know. I know most people that I know that are like artists or whatever, or that put pen to paper, or paint to canvas, or photography, all that stuff. Like, most of them, they seem to be more of a gentler thinker. I would say, like, a gentler thinker. Like, it's not too much. There's no haste. It's like, let me think this through. Let me figure this out first before. I think what you did, that's amazing, bro. Like, you starting that program. Like, that's a great way to create a different perspective, like to help people create a different perspective. So I think that's dope. Cause I'm gonna tell a quick story. This isn't my interview, but I just wanted to share this with you. Before I went to drama class in high school, I was like a don't talk to anybody type of person. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to know anything about anybody. I just wanted to move on, go on with my day, and that's it. But when I went to drama class, my teacher, I always talk about her. She says I talk about her too much, but she actually showed me a new world. Like, that's when I really started getting involved in knowing people. She was like, okay, everybody present themselves and, you know, read a little bit about yourself. We wrote like this little form, filled it out. And I went first. No, I didn't go first. I went like probably like fifth or third. But after that's when I heard, I only started hearing when I went, you know what I'm saying? And after I went, I saw how people reacted to me telling my story. And then I started listening to everybody else's. And then, you know, this person was, hey, you know, my parents are from Nicaragua, and, you know, we eat this, you know, we have a yuca con mojo, or whatever, you know, and all this stuff. So it's like, and I'm just like listening to this, and I'm like, wow, like some of these people have like so many different aspects to them. Like there's so many different, different moving pieces. Like it's not just a body, you know. It's because I feel like back in the days I used to just see people as just bodies. You know, I didn't feel like there was any need to have an emotional connection, to have a deeper connection. And I remember just being in that class, just learning about everyone and learning their names and actually like trying to befriend everybody. And to be honest, like that class brought me out of my shell, you know, just being able, after that we did like shows together where we would do like The Producer. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie. It's basically like about a group of guys trying to create a show and stuff like that. And so it got everybody to work together and, you know, get to know each other. But there's just something that triggered my wanting to know people's stories. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to share that because you saying you started that program kind of triggered me a little bit. But to continue, what would you say keeps you going with creating art?
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
yoga, good food.
Yeah.
Conscious friends, love.
Yeah.
Kindness. Water, air, earth. All these things I need to continue making art. It's important for us to take care of the earth, for us to do anything. So now everything you do, if it's beneficial for humanity and earth and all the creations on it, then you can consider your desires to be aligned, and it will be supported by the magic you described earlier, or by that energy. It'll be supported. So
it's like the balance, trying to find the balance.
Oh yeah. And, you know, you see like assholes, you know, get their way a lot, and you question like, oh, maybe I'll stop being a nice guy. That's not getting me nowhere. Energy, you know, doesn't really punish people for doing bad things like that. It's more so like, I feel, and I'm getting deep here, but it's like everybody has lessons to learn. And sometimes like you have to go through lessons to like you like learned it. It's very simple.
There's like a certain path for everybody. The path of the asshole maybe is leading them to a lesson that he doesn't know yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the path of your kindness is leading you to a lesson that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
You know, that's the interesting thing for me. I've always followed this path of just doing what I believe is right. Like just doing what I believe is right and trying to not wrong anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people all the time, like, live your life. If you feel like your life doesn't mesh into my life, I'm not trying to stop you from living your life. I want you to continue to live your life, and I wish the best for you. But don't make it a big deal for us to live the same life. It's a weird thing. It just goes back to the whole your life is an art form thing. How are you willing to let people live their life? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about your style of approach to life. So how would you explain your style when it comes to your art?
Style.
And you can go for either Jhon's style of living or HeavenSake style of art.
Yeah.
Because I know...
The style, no, I think my style of art has, could be best described as a mixture of Dali and Disney. Taking the psychedelic juiciness that Dali delivers and taking the very friendly looking, bubbly exaggerations of cartoon from Disney's contribution to the art world, and taking those two things and like meshing them together. So it's like you have a friendly, psychedelic ride with my artwork, where it feels safe but still edgy.
Yeah, so. I kind of get that energy too. Yeah, I kind of get that energy from it too. It's a very unique style of art. The medium itself is pretty dope because you use a lot of colors. When it comes to having those images in your head, like what is your approach to creating? Is it like do you need a trigger, or you just maybe you have a dream, or you just decide to just put pen on paper? Like
it used to be a lot of inspiration, like I used to, and I still do, like I used to like wait on inspiration to hit me, and then I'll start doing something. Nowadays, in this phase of my evolution, I've just been creating work that's been commissioned, or I'm working with a communal setting on an art project. So it's just been about getting to work, getting up and doing your duty as an artist. This is what you do full time, this is normal.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait on inspiration anymore,
Yeah.
This is where I'm at right now. We have to allow ourselves to evolutionize, Oh, he's getting turned up. Sorry, my doggy's everywhere.
It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, it's I think a lot of people do try to do the wait on the inspiration kind of thing, but I feel like as a person that creates, it doesn't need to be an inspiration. I think you just need to touch the canvas or touch whatever you're using.
Trust your creator power.
Exactly. It just flows sometimes. Because there's some days where I used to do this exercise where I would take a pen and I would just scribble lines on a piece of paper. And as I look at the lines on a piece of paper, I would start to see an image. And I'll start just creating that image that I see. Sometimes it doesn't even connect with the lines. Sometimes it's just the line is like one side that just triggered the rest of the artwork. So I definitely think most artists who are waiting on inspiration should just create it themselves in a way.
Yeah, I mean, evolution looks different in different phases.
Yeah.
Like when we were younger, I could speak for myself. Like, it was a big part of my creation is to fall in love, to get heartbroken, and do a painting about it. Like, there's nothing I can't replace that. That painting has layers and oceans of depths of wisdom.
Yeah.
And so like you can't put a price on that stuff.
Yeah. So do you believe the old saying that an artist have to be in a dark place to create, or?
Oh no, I mean, if the the artist is doing that, do it good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, do it good, and then when you're feeling happy, do that good.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a lot of artists
embrace the balance, bro.
Yeah,
embrace it.
Yeah. So speaking of dark times, and just dealing with the struggles of maybe having a calm mind. A lot of people, artists, go through a lot of mental health difficulties, and such as anxiety and depression. How would you say your mental health is right now?
I have a good mental health. I have a really good mental health, I would say. Anxiety comes from overthinking the future, which doesn't exist. And it's avoiding the presence altogether. So the sickness of the mind comes when you start to bring it away from its natural form. It's natural. It naturally wants to be joyous. It naturally wants to be present. But we put it in the past and we put it in the future. I have a lot of friends who live close to me, because of my artist residency, and I become like a therapist for everybody. Move. Move. Go over there. Go over there.
Talk to your little buddy.
He, like, move, little guy. My little dog is trying to get you. So.
Friends that live close.
Yeah, I have a weird time explaining what I'm trying to express, but it's like I'm too calm, I'm too at peace compared to all my friends. And it looks weird because all my friends are like stressing over something, money or relationships or finding themselves, whatever have you. And I know it's all because there's a blockage of love, of knowing the truth, because the truth will always set you free. And the illusion is separatism. Anything that makes you feel like you're separated from anything else is an illusion. And just know that people are trying to defend an identity that is posed on them since birth. It's not just overnight that you will unplug them. It's like years and decades of programming. You know what I mean? That's why these interviews are so important, because what you're really doing is that you're gathering information, and the brain, like a computer, can hold information, and it can activate people through information. You can call them codes. So with information codes, you can activate anybody who hears this. I said the other day, I said that cameras, videos, are like the new books.
I agree.
So you pick up a book and it feels like it holds value, like you'll learn something from this. With the same respect and standard should we take videos and upload them, because they can be replayed forever and ever. So if you're putting out garbage, it's like you're putting out this book. So a new discovered profound respect for taking videos, I think is something I was thinking about, and here we are, taking an awesome video, ready to activate the minds.
You say that it's interesting how calm you are when it comes to your friends. Sometimes I kind of feel the same, because I don't know, I guess I just have a little more of a understanding of the world than, I wouldn't say than my friends, but I've just been through more things. So sometimes I feel way older than I am. So it's like I'm able to give advice on things that truthfully I may not have experienced, but it's just like I have a pretty good idea of how to solve that problem itself. You know, so that's good that you have that support system, because a lot of artists, I think, feel like they need to be loners, feel like they need to feel like nobody understands them in a way. And I've told you before, I believe that artists understand artists. So the fact that you have a community around you that are artists is maybe why you're so calm, because you're able to share whatever you're feeling to them easily, if you do, and they're able to share it with you, and you're able to be like, yeah, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know if it's synergy, because you know it could be synergy, but it's like synergy in the state of living, just living. You know what I'm saying? You guys are just feeding off each other, living. You're appreciative of the community. You're appreciative of the being around people that just feels at home. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, most of your life, you know, you've been doing art and graffiti and stuff like that, and you've been running around with people. So it's like now you're back with your people. You know, the people that creates, the people that wants to put things together and take them apart, even, you know, whichever it is. But it's just that itself, it just feeds you. And I think you're feeding off that, which is making your energy bigger, making your understanding bigger, and just engulfing you in just whatever frequency you're on. And now you're just riding it. You're like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you stay on that frequency, man, because I can definitely feel the goodness from you, you know, the relaxation from you, the calmness, the yin and the yang that you're trying to keep together.
Thank you.
And it's nice, but you definitely like keep that alive.
Thank you.
When it comes to the art community, how do you feel about, aside from your residency, how do you feel about their acceptance? Would you say their welcoming, their support, their the connection, the networking? How do you feel about the Miami art community when it comes to making an artist understanding artist a thing?
Right now, we live in a very special time. If you're an artist in Miami in 2022, you have an opportunity to network like never before, to dabble into new projects, expand your creative nature. Because of technology, crypto per se, and art Basel being here, it created a stew of special formula for artists and and creators in general, and techie people. Earlier I mentioned I went to San Francisco in 2020. This was like right after the pandemic, or a day before the pandemic, actually. You wouldn't believe it. I got there and then the quarantine happened the next day.
That's crazy.
And what I've learned there, I was forced to live in an Airbnb, right? Not forced, but I decided that I was gonna stay there. I didn't want to go back. And it's there that I learned about the tech hub in San Francisco and about crypto and NFTs. And my buddy Will told me about how I can upload an image, sell the image. I'm like, how am I gonna, sell an image if I can't even freaking sell a real thing, you know? But he explained to me it's not that. Like, trust me, just give me any picture. I didn't listen. Whatever. So I spent 10 months in San Francisco, made a whole bunch of connections, did an art show with the local artist there that I put together with a friend. And then I decided to come back to Miami with newly gained ambition for creating a communal setting for artists in my home. And so I did just that. But there was a lot of confirmation that had to happen for me to feel really confident about it. What am I talking about? I was in San Francisco and I had to get a job because I needed money. And so I applied for a ranger's position at this park. It was really cool. They taught me how to use a chainsaw and all this other cool stuff. And on briefing day, they told me that to get into the building that we worked at, that there needed to be a code inserted in a keypad, and the code was 17. That's the address to this house. So I was so confused.
Great.
I asked her, I'm like, are you sure that you're not reading my address from my home back in Miami?
Yeah.
She's like, are you high? No, this is the keypad. And I explained to her, this is the address of my home. She's like, oh, what a coincidence. Let's carry on. She just like didn't care. But in my mind, I was stuck. I was like, wait a minute, like take the spiritual thing out of it, like mathematically. What are the chances of that?
Great.
I'm just
1 to a billion.
1 to a billion, right?
Yeah.
So 17, and then I go to this new Airbnb in San Francisco. I spent 9 months there, and I see how tech people are co-living. And then I'm 117. I'm like, this would be cool if the whole house was full of artists. Of course, that's what 117 means. So I come back and I fix up the whole house into an Airbnb for artists, and dude, lo and behold, so much more magic. In retrospect, I'm being spoken to by an entity in the higher realms. There's no other way to put it.
1,000%, bro.
Because it's not a coincidence, and all the unfoldment that occurred after that has been pure magic. Me meeting like investors, me meeting like Hollywood producers, just meeting the right people at the right time. You know, Wyclef, Jhon, Boz, J.Cole, like meeting all these people has, well, actually J.Cole happened before all of that, but anyways, still part of it. That's my boy. Anyway, so from 117 to Viva to now, like I've been reading all the signs. I've been taking them much more seriously. So when you popped on my DM, it's not even surprising. I'm like, this is an alignment. And now I can see now what's going on, that you're a seeker, and you've been seeking truth. And I'm going to share with you all the truth that I know to be true. You know, and it might be a little grain of salt, but it's a salt of truth. A little grain of truth. I'd rather give you a grain of truth than a whole litter of bullshit. You know what I mean? So this is what I've learned. I learned that it's very simple, is that we're all one, and love really is the answer. And we are all in a, it's called the dream of the world. And we're all in this collective dream. And as a conscious collective species, if you were to look at us as a collective species, we're healing. We're going through a healing phase because of all the trauma that we've gone through as a collective species.
I agree.
So that's why everybody around the world, they're going through these healing processes, and yoga, meditation, eating good, all those is becoming more of an energy exchange because we're healing. You know, that's what's happening.
All right, man. It's interesting how you've found that how everything led you to that path of me being here, because believe it or not, I wasn't supposed to go to that event where I met your teacher. Like, I was gonna say, I'm tired for the day, like I'm going home. But something in the back of my mind was like, I need you to be there. And as soon as I walked through that door, the first person I saw was your teacher.
Yeah, I love her.
And she was just like, hi. And I was like, hello.
Yeah, that's her.
And it's like, like, yeah, that's her. And you was just like, and it was just like, I felt at home. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of warehouse 4726. And I felt really at home. And we ended up having a 3-hour conversation. Mind you, I wasn't supposed to be there, bro. 3-hour conversation about art.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Say hi to Fabian. He was bugging in there.
Yeah, I saw he was going back and forth. But yeah, like a 3-hour conversation about art and everything. So it's like, it got so intense. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like, why am I here right now, you know? And that's when she was like, oh, like it would be really, really nice if you got in touch with one of my students, Jhon. And I was just like, oh, sure, you know? And then she was like, yeah, like take a look at his work, you know, here, send me your information, showed me your art pieces. And I was like, wow, like it's really awesome. And she was like, yeah, like, you know? And I was like, I've been thinking about interviewing a couple of people. And I was like, ask him. I'm sure he'll be willing to. Like, just ask him. And then I sent you the DM. And here we are today. You know, it took some time, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it just, because I honestly thought you moved out of Miami when I saw you in New York. I was like, oh, he's gone. Like, he just moved out. Like, he's not coming back. And then when I saw you came back, I was like, okay, perfect. Let me try to make it happen. But overall, like, I really think whatever is happening here, whatever is happening, I think it really does, you definitely fit into that. Because a lot of things went through my mind when you were telling your story. Just you being able to create those spaces that you've been creating. Because in my mind, I'm like, all right, maybe you need to create a space like that here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, art, event shows, community type of stuff. You know, maybe things like that should happen. Because crazy enough, I was thinking about making stuff like that happen already. Because I've been looking at the peer space.
Yeah.
I've been checking out the spaces. So it's like, it's interesting.
Oh, I know Peer Space.
Yeah. No, the app.
Oh.
Yeah, the app. Yeah, Peer Space app. It has a bunch of, I think that's probably like a real Peer Space.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at the app to look at event places. But that's very interesting, man. I think something really is happening right now. And my mind is connecting it all. And I think there's going to be like an event coming soon. And I think you're going to be there. I think Paul is going to be there. I need you to connect with Paul.
Yeah?
Paula Camacho. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, the way you guys speak, instant match. Like, no lie. Like, you guys are going to become friends, bro. Because it's like, I keep saying it over and over, bro. I really believe that artists understand artists.
Yeah.
And I think the deeper meaning of artists understand artists is the unity of it. Is the connection of it.
Sorry, it's my dog trying to eat my lizard.
Yeah,
the camera can see what's going on.
The camera can't. It's like on the upper part, but it's definitely something's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let him chill here.
Yeah. But to go into the next question, how do you feel about your career so far?
It's going great.
Yeah.
I'm practicing how to speak and stay authentic.
You're doing an amazing job.
But without sounding crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm learning that life is perfect. Literally, life has to be perfect for anything to exist. So I've been wanting to say, I feel perfect. You know, I've been wanting to say life is great and like I'm perfect.
Yeah.
But that comes off a certain way.
Yeah.
Like I'm perfect. Leo, move.
Yeah.
Here, move.
See the dog.
Sorry, this is gonna be a constant thing. I love dogs. I love my
it's fine.
Fabian.
Yeah.
Animals mean a lot. They should mean a lot to people.
Everybody. Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. So you're really excited about your career so far?
I am.
Happy about it?
I am. Trust the process. I'm living in an efficiency. I don't have a car. It just broke down. I had to turn it in. But I'm happier than I've ever been. You know. Oh, sorry.
I'm just trying to get back in there.
Oh, sorry, guys. I don't know. I'm trusting the process.
Yeah.
This is what keeps me happy, is to know that I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's good to just go with the flow, because I feel like I've had a moment in my life where everything terrible happened. The car broke down, lost my job and all that stuff, and it's like I remember just stressing, and at the end of the day, using my creative mind as most creatives do, I just thought, there's a solution. There's a solution to it. So what am I freaking out about? You know, all this anxiety. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen soon enough. And if it gets bad enough, if I don't have a choice, I'm gonna make $8 an hour at somebody's little restaurant cleaning dishes. You know what I'm saying? There's an answer. I feel like some people freak out so much and think that the world is over when they haven't even thought of any other solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Just take your time. You know.
Yeah, I'm literally really happy right now with my life. No one could take that away from me. You know, like they would. I saw something that resonates with me. It says something like, if somebody offered you $10 million, but you can't wake up to the next day, would you take it? And that answer is no, because you can't spend it the next day.
Yeah.
So the following question is, so when you woke up today, how come you didn't treat it like it was $10 million worth?
Deep.
So I really, really feel perfect. Like I can't find another parable to express that I feel exactly where I'm supposed to be. I don't lack anything. I don't even tell people I miss you anymore. Even though I care for their presence, I don't miss them because I'm not missing them. I'm not missing anything. I care for you and you're at a distance, and I love you, but I lack nothing.
I respect that. I respect that, because I've always been like that. Some people say it's all out of sight, out of mind. No, it's not out of sight, out of mind. I still think about you. You know, I still care for you. It's just like I'm not gonna drive myself to an anxiety type of mood or anxious, depressive mood just because you're not near. What's for me will come for me, in a sense. I'm not saying I'm not working for it, but it'll come for me. You know what I'm saying?
It'll meet you.
It'll meet you. Yeah. So, let's say 5 years from now. Okay, 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
That's a good question. Honestly, because of the projects I have going on right now, in 5 years, I see myself, I think, in a nice house somewhere. Maybe I have 2 houses, maybe like a condo, and here in Miami. But also I want like a house, maybe like in North Carolina or Denver, Colorado. You know, Denver. But I do want something that's more out in nature, and just hang out, learn how to grow my own food, be completely sustainable, learn how to be fully self-sustainable with food, hygiene, and other gadgets, other cool things, you know, learning how to build things, and just meditating, educating our youth about the earth, about who they are as star children, doing my best to be a reflection of the universe to the youth. I think that's important.
That's awesome, man. I think those are all.
You said 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So
5 years.
I'll be 33. Yeah.
I think those are all achievable.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think all that is achievable. Some of them you've basically done already. Having a program for kids, basically. You did that at the Carroll City High School. You already did that already, so I believe you can do it again. You turned Airbnb into an event space. I think you said that in California, in San Francisco.
Here in Miami.
In Miami.
This house.
So you can definitely do it again. So you definitely get the houses, because to do that it takes a lot of knowledge, and you've done it already. So I think all of those things are achievable, and I believe you will achieve them. You have a really good spirit, you have a really good energy, and you have a very interesting frequency that you're riding on, and it's taking you somewhere that I believe will surpass those things. I think you'll definitely be a figure, like a figurehead. You know what I'm saying? The name Jhon and HeavenSake will be well known. I can feel it, you know.
Thank you.
Because you right now, just the way that people speak about you, the way your teacher spoke about you itself says a lot. The way I'm gonna speak about you to Paula is gonna say a lot too, because dude, like, you have a really amazing energy. And I think all your dreams are gonna come true. I believe in that.
They're coming true.
I believe in that. Me being here, I feel like maybe part of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I feel like me even having this camera, maybe not me specifically, but me recording you having this conversation, may be a part of it.
Yeah, it's like I can't even express your timing and how divine it is right now. Can I elaborate what I'm really trying to say?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I've been practicing how to like elevator pitch this, but I finally got a good job. I'm talking about like before I went to San Francisco, I got a good job paying me like $30 an hour, and they gave me the company's car, and I was finally like chilling. But then my friend went to California. He says, yo, Jhon, come out here for 2 months, rent free, and just create art. I'll buy your ticket or whatever. So as an artist, I had to keep the integrity of it, and I called my boss, and he's like, look, when you come back, you have a spot here, just because they love me that much. So basically, I had to call my boss, tell him thank you for the opportunity, but I gotta pursue my dreams in California. I packed my bags, went to California. COVID hit, quarantine slammed, my friend lost his job and had to move back to Miami. I decided to look for an Airbnb. I went from Marin County to San Francisco, which is like a 30-minute drive over the Golden Gate Bridge. And I basically stick it out for 9 months there, taking notes, looking at how the Airbnb is set up. It was like designed for techie people. So in my mind, I was scheming for the artist version of this. And my mom was going to leave this home. So I called her up and I said, Ma, I'm gonna take over the rent here. You know, I'm going to turn this space into an Airbnb space. And I did. I came back, I got all the furniture, hooked this place up. And where was I going with that? Oh, so now then the people started to pour in, like specific people. I had this one person who invited me to this one event, and I sat in a circle where we were like expressing ourselves. It was like a, you know, we had pen and paper out. We were talking about our goals. It was like Tony Robbins style, like Airbnb experience. And I spoke and I told them my story. And one of the people there, his name is Jason. He was like working on a TV series for funding artists who have a dream that benefit the community. So he's like, I want to hear more about you. So he came over to my house and we became friends, and we started this NFT project. And then I ran into at the Bitcoin conference another individual by the name of Chris, who then became a pillar to the project and the investor. And I introduced the TV producer to the investor. They became really good friends. And then we formed like a trio of a good team, and we believed in this project. And now Jason has this energy worker friend who basically calibrates all of our energies through her alchemy of divine unionship practices. And she basically channels from the stars, and it sounds like she's speaking in tongues. So she's this elderly looking woman, and she's, you know, we treat her with a lot of respect. So we have her, we have the investor, we have the Hollywood guy, we have the artist. So it starts to seem like everything's like divinely being put into place. And right now we're starting this really amazing project. And we had to seek out another party, a group of a dozen people to help us expand the brand. They're accelerators and brand expanders. So we're gonna create an animation out of Alien and Fabian. See, all of this took place because I decided to call my boss, and I didn't choose comfort.
Mm-hmm.
You get it? I'm here to share. I'm here to share this with you because it's that moment of me choosing discomfort but pursuing my dreams that made all of that possible. My show, Alien and Fabian, got funded $100K. Okay, I'm sharing that with you because I've never had anything in my life. My mom came here without no English, not a dime, and she invested everything in her children to make the best out of what she's offering them. And here I am, you know, and I'm going to share that with you because I know that's going to spark a sense of reflection. There's a decision in your life, in your past, present, and future where you have to choose discomfort to pursue your heart, your dreams. And that's gonna come back to you 100-fold. 1,000-fold, bro. Okay?
I just want to start off by saying, weren't you the guy who doesn't speak?
Dude.
Beautiful. Beautiful, bro. Beautiful. Look at this.
Dude.
Look at this. Do you see this? Are you seeing it right now? Do you know what you just said right now?
It's a pattern, dude.
Do you know how much you just expressed right now?
Yeah. Keep all of that. Keep all of that.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jhon, aka HeavenSake, who said he's not a speaker. He started the interview by saying he may not have a lot to say. And you just witnessed on camera him saying a whole lot, expressing a whole lot. And with that said, I want to say thank you to Jhon. Thank you so much for inviting me into your home, into your studio.
Can I say one last thing?
Oh, go ahead, of course.
Like, this is a story that caught Jason's attention at the circle. It's the whole reason why he's like, yo, this kid got something.
Yeah.
What story did I share? The story that I shared beside the Airbnb story, before that, I was working at Michael's. Before I got the good job with the band and stuff like this, I was working for fiber optics. I was working at Michael's. I love them. Shout out to Michael's. But whatever, like, you know, humans are humans, and you know, we didn't know how to communicate, and my bosses and I got into like a little argument, and I felt like I was being treated unfairly. Okay? I was showing up earlier, leaving later, coming in on my off days, all of that good stuff, right? Being nice and polite. But since I was the new guy, they kind of threw all their blame on me when something went wrong. It was put on me. And then one day, I don't know, one day I just had enough of it. And my hands were shaking, and I was just like, I don't deserve this. I deserve much better. Like, and I expressed to them what I just told you. I'm like, I go above and beyond, and you guys treat me like bait. I feel so devalued here, and I know my worth, which was the key phrase. I know my worth, and I don't belong here because I'm being treated very poorly here. So I took my stuff and I left. The next day, my friend calls me, the same guy who goes to California, right, Abraham. Before he went to California, he was managing the parking lot in Little Haiti. Apparently, J.Cole's company or people call my friend's people and book the parking lot for Tribe. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, they're coming through today, come through. there's like a little opening, just come through and hang out. So I'm like, okay, I'll be there. So he calls me during the time that I would have been at work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm home, and before he calls me, I'm like, this is my first day as an artist. I you know, like, what's up? You know, I'm gonna do something. I wake up at 9 o'clock like I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just working for myself. I get that call, boom, hop in my mom's car. She didn't want to listen to me at first. I said, Ma, please, you don't understand. This is like one of my favorite rappers, Ma. I gotta go see him. So she finally listened to me after I fucking snatched it out of her hands, basically. Put a painting in there, a classic painting that held dearly to my heart, you know. And I show up at the scene, they're rapping, J.Cole and Boss, they're just doing their set, and I'm just posted. I'm like, oh, this is cool as fuck. And I see J.Cole coming off. I'm like, all right, you know, I get to approach him now. So I go up to him, and he was just regular, cool as fuck, you know. So I explained to him like what the painting meant. It was called I forget the name, but basically it was a sheep, and next to the sheep ass was a piece of chocolate. So you can't tell if it was chocolate or a pile of shit. So it was called Bittersweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it made him laugh, and his homies started laughing and shit. And it was like a little funny moment, I guess. But he liked the painting. He took the painting and shit, and I gifted it to him. You know, he says, you know, is it like basically like, are you sure you want to give this to me? Like asking me, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, it's a gift. I want to gift this to you. And he dapped me up, and he was kind enough to take a picture with me and shit. It was dope. And you know, after people saw that J. Cole has my artwork, they elevated me to another level, but I was still like at my mom's house. You know what I mean? Trying to figure it out.
That's how it goes.
So, you know, then, you know, the next day I met Boss and gave him my artwork. Just having celebrities own your artwork it kind of brings people's attention to what you're doing. Once you have their attention, then that's what really matters. Like, what are you gonna do with their attention? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've learned to draw everybody's attention to love, loving awareness, that we're all reflections of love to one another. And life is definitely a dream. All your decisions are like the brush of a stroke, of the stroke of a brush, like I said earlier. And it's literally magic. Like that 17391 thing, me meeting J. Cole because I knew my worth, which is the whole thing of that story, is that I knew my worth, and the next day I met J. Cole. It was more like a sign from the universe saying like, you're right, you are right, you do know your worth. And even though they're not paying you a steady paycheck, you're gonna have so much more fun, and you're gonna enjoy life. Life is really about love and joy.
You know, the crazy thing is, that's kind of always been J. Cole's message. Dollar in the Dream Tour. I don't think that was the tour you went to, but it may have been. It'd be interesting if that was. But, like I said, man, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening, but something's happening, bro. And right now I'm just following it. Just like, okay, what's next? Okay.
You ever tried mushrooms?
No, I think too much. I think I think too much for stuff like that. Cause I don't think I'll come back.
Mushrooms, it's a big part of one of the greatest lessons, and that's the lessons of unity. And I love how you describe my paintings, that it's all juxtaposed imagery that carries a narrative, a cohesive narrative as a collective. And that's life. In life, you know that you'll see the interconnectedness of everything. Everything's literally connected. Nothing separated from each other. How did you get here? You can say that you woke up this morning, but then you had to fall asleep the night before, and then you had to get into bed, and then you had to go live that day, and then you had to wake up that morning. So really, like, everything is literally connected. And there's a beauty in that. And a beauty to know that once you find your reflection in a rock, and in the trees, and in everything, that's when you find, like, your truest source of love, and all anxiety will go away because there's no more hope. You replace that with knowing. It's a knowing. You know. You're not hoping anymore. You're not thinking anymore. You know. And I thank you for coming, because, like, you're a reflection of everything that I'm learning and everything that is happening to me and with me. You know.
Yeah, man. With that said, thank you everybody for joining me and Jhon, aka HeavenSake, on this amazing interview. I believe the interview might be like 58 minutes, but I feel like it's an hour and 20. All of it will be posted. This was amazing, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much once again for allowing me into your home, for allowing me into your studio, and for having this amazing conversation with me that I believe could go on for days. But these are cameras. These are cameras. They don't hold that much. But with that said, thank you everybody for joining us, and goodbye.